five weeks working with all different kinds of groups in South Africa, and it was very interesting. A story that mediators often talk about, being interviewed about whether you're acceptable. We were staying in Johannesburg, and we wanted to work with a large number of different African groups, which were the black groups in South Africa. And so they said, well, we want you to come out to a meeting. So we went out to this meeting in Soweto, and we were late. And we were late because South Africa has lots of security systems, and we were trying to get the security system on this house that we were living in to work. And of course, we didn't live in security system, a place that was covered by that, so we didn't know how this worked. And we were afraid to leave because of the property, but we had to go to this meeting. So we arrived at the meeting late, which was very poor judgment on our part. Arrived to a room of about 50 people, and they put all of us, our white team, up on a stage and grilled us for 3 hours about why we were there, what we were interested in doing, what we were going to do with the information we got, what was our experience. And at the end, they all nodded and said, "You're fine. We'll work with you." So we did. So we worked on issues with the employers who actually were way out in front of the anti-apartheid laws, and they were trying to figure out ways to make normal living situations rather than keeping workers in hostels.
Employers were out front on that.
It was interesting, like in the civil rights movement in Birmingham and some of the different places. The people saw that the kind of conflict which was going on in South Africa or in the American South during the civil rights movement was not good for business. And so they were really pushing to make changes. In fact, they were doing lots of things that, according to South African laws, were illegal, but everyone was too. They were moving in and living in what they called gray areas, which were areas where different racial groups were not allowed to live, but they were going in and renting apartments. So they were sort of saying, if this was a free society, what would it look like? And I'm going to try to live as close to that as I possibly can. So it was at the time where the whole society was breaking down. So we worked with employers. We worked with all the major unions. We worked with many of the political groupings that were there. Our first workshop was fascinating. There was about 45 people. The guy who organized it was a South African Quaker, and he said, well, I didn't exactly explain to everybody who was going to be there, but I told them that there would be people with diverse views. Well, when they arrived, they were attending a conference with groups that were killing each other. And he said, I figured it was better to beg forgiveness than ask permission, and I wanted them in the same room. And so here we had the security forces for the South African police and the military with the ANC and Inkatha and the Pan-African Congress. They all had different front groups because they were all banned.
Likely
they were not
muttering
allowed.
that these guys must be nuts.
That's right. And so we worked with them. So we were one of the first groups to actually work in South Africa, looking at primarily capacity building in negotiation skills and mediation skills.
I have to